we want you to know.
The upcoming Trump-ASEAN Summit is emerging as one of the most closely watched diplomatic gatherings of the year, signaling not just another round of photo opportunities and handshakes, but a major turning point in how the United States plans to engage with Southeast Asia under Donald Trump's renewed foreign policy vision. With global politics increasingly defined by economic nationalism, regional alliances, and a mounting U.S.-China rivalry, this summit could reshape the balance of power in Asia and redefine America's role in one of the world's most dynamic regions. At its core, this meeting between Trump and the leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, will address three fundamental issues: trade, security, and trust. But beneath those headlines lies a deeper question. Can Trump convince ASEAN that America is a consistent and reliable partner, or will the region continue drifting closer to Beijing's orbit? To understand the stakes, it's important to remember what ASEAN represents. Formed in 1967, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations is a regional bloc of 10 countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, the Philippines, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Brunei, collectively home to more than 650 million people and a combined GDP of nearly $4 trillion. The group functions through consensus, emphasizing diplomacy, neutrality, and cooperation. For decades, the United States has viewed ASEAN as a key part of its Indo-Pacific strategy, a strategic buffer against China and a hub for global trade. However, the relationship has faced turbulence in recent years, especially during Trump's previous tenure, when Washington pulled out of multilateral trade deals like the Trans-Pacific Partnership and imposed tariffs that unsettled many regional economies. Now, with Trump back at the helm, his administration is looking to re-engage, but this time on new terms: bilateral deals, tighter supply chains, and stronger strategic commitments. At this summit, Trump is expected to unveil several new trade and economic initiatives targeting individual ASEAN nations rather than the group as a whole. Reports suggest that preliminary frameworks have already been discussed with Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. These agreements could include tariff reductions, improved market access for U.S. goods, digital trade frameworks, and new rules on intellectual property protection. For instance, Cambodia is expected to sign a framework that reduces tariffs on American imports in exchange for agricultural investment commitments, while Malaysia has agreed in principle to digital economy cooperation and manufacturing supply chain diversification. These steps fit Trump's America First playbook, expanding U.S. exports, reshaping trade to benefit domestic industries, and reducing dependence on China. However, not everyone in ASEAN is convinced. Many countries remain wary of America's unpredictable trade policy, especially given Trump's record of imposing sudden tariffs, withdrawing from trade agreements, and prioritizing short-term gains over long-term stability. While economics will dominate the headlines, security and geopolitics are equally crucial topics on the agenda. The South China Sea remains one of the world's most contested regions, with overlapping territorial claims involving China, the Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia. Trump's administration has repeatedly criticized Beijing's militarization of artificial islands in these waters and emphasized the U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. Expect the summit to feature bold statements reaffirming U.S. support for regional sovereignty and freedom of navigation, alongside potential announcements of joint maritime exercises or intelligence sharing initiatives. Washington's broader goal is clear: to reassure Southeast Asian partners that the U.S. will remain a strong security presence and counterweight to China's growing military assertiveness. However, ASEAN's cautious diplomatic approach means most leaders will avoid directly confronting Beijing. Instead, they'll seek to balance both powers, extracting benefits from U.S. engagement while maintaining deep economic ties with China. Trust will be another critical theme running through the discussions. ASEAN leaders have long complained about inconsistency in U.S. foreign policy. One administration promises engagement, the next retreats. Trump's earlier withdrawal from multilateral trade frameworks and his transactional diplomacy left some lingering doubts about America's reliability. Moreover, the America First philosophy, while domestically popular, has often been interpreted abroad as America alone, suggesting that Washington may prioritize its own interests even at the expense of allies. Rebuilding credibility, therefore, will require more than speeches. Trump will need to demonstrate that the U.S. intends to stay committed to ASEAN for the long term, through investment, partnership, and sustained diplomatic presence, not just one-time deals or symbolic gestures. From ASEAN's perspective, this summit offers both opportunity and risk. On one hand, renewed engagement with Washington could bring new investments, access to technology, and greater strategic stability. On the other hand, the region fears being caught in the middle of an escalating U.S. or China rivalry. China remains ASEAN's largest trading partner, and its influence is deepening through initiatives like the Belt and Road and the recently upgraded ASEAN-China Free Trade Area 3.0. If Trump pushes too aggressively for countries to align with Washington, ASEAN might respond cautiously, preferring to preserve its traditional neutrality. Most Southeast Asian nations have mastered the art of strategic balancing, welcoming the U.S. as a security partner while relying on China as an economic engine. They are unlikely to abandon that approach, regardless of how assertive U.S. diplomacy becomes. Observers expect several outcomes from the summit. First, Trump will likely announce a comprehensive U.S.-ASEAN economic framework, a broad agreement to boost trade, energy cooperation, and digital economy partnerships. Second, there could be new bilateral trade deals, possibly with Vietnam and Malaysia, that include commitments to streamline tariffs and improve market access. Third, we may see a joint declaration on maritime security, reaffirming freedom of navigation and cooperation in humanitarian and disaster relief operations. Finally, expect symbolic gestures. A photo of Trump alongside ASEAN leaders, strong rhetoric about friendship and shared prosperity, and an emphasis on mutual respect to project stability. However, behind the optics, the fine print will matter. Many of these deals will be framework agreements, broad outlines that still need to be negotiated and implemented over time. The real question will be whether they lead to lasting change or fade after the summit ends. For the United States, this summit represents a strategic comeback opportunity. In recent years, Washington's influence in Southeast Asia has waned as China's trade, investment, and diplomatic presence expanded dramatically. By re-engaging with ASEAN, Trump aims to counter China's dominance, secure access to fast-growing markets, and reassert America's global leadership. For ASEAN, this is a chance to diversify partnerships, attract U.S. investment, and strengthen bargaining power with both superpowers. For China, however, the summit poses a challenge. Beijing has responded swiftly, organizing its own parallel meetings with ASEAN leaders and finalizing the upgraded Free Trade Pact just days before Trump's arrival, a clear message that China won to easily surrender its influence. Still, the outcome of the Trump-ASEAN summit is far from guaranteed. Success will depend not only on the agreements announced, but on how both sides follow through afterward. ASEAN will judge the U.S. by its actions, consistent engagement, respectful diplomacy, and tangible benefits for local economies. If Washington once again pivots away after the summit, ASEAN will continue deepening its reliance on China. Conversely, if Trump can demonstrate that U.S. commitments are serious, predictable, and mutually beneficial, it could mark the start of a new era in U.S.-ASEAN relations. Another factor shaping expectations is domestic politics, both in the U.S. and within ASEAN countries. Trump's foreign policy style is bold, transactional, and media-driven. He likes visible wins, signing ceremonies, handshake deals, and televised declarations. ASEAN leaders, by contrast, favor quiet negotiation, consensus, and cautious diplomacy. This cultural difference could make the summit theatrically successful but substantively thin. Meanwhile, several ASEAN nations are grappling with internal challenges, from Thailand's political uncertainty to Myanmar's ongoing conflict, limiting how much they can commit to new regional initiatives. That reality may lead to modest results, frameworks and pledges, rather than transformative agreements. For global markets, the summit's implications could be significant. Renewed U.S. or ASEAN trade could boost investor confidence, open new supply chain routes, and diversify production away from China. American companies, especially in manufacturing, semiconductors, and digital services, could find new opportunities in Southeast Asia's rapidly growing economies. However, if the summit reignites tariff tensions or hardens divisions between Washington and Beijing, markets could react with caution, wary of another round of trade uncertainty. Beyond economics, there's also a symbolic dimension. This summit signals that the United States wants to be seen again as an Indo-Pacific power, not just a Western one. By showing up and engaging directly, Trump hopes to counter the narrative that America is retreating from Asia. For ASEAN, this renewed attention reinforces the bloc's strategic importance. It shows that major powers still view it as essential to maintaining regional stability. The very act of meeting and negotiating, even amid disagreement, sends a powerful diplomatic message that Southeast Asia remains at the center of global strategy. In the broader picture, the Trump-ASEAN summit encapsulates the tensions of our time: globalization versus nationalism, cooperation versus competition, and multilateral diplomacy versus strongman politics. Each side comes with its own agenda. Trump wants trade deals, visibility, and a demonstration of strength. ASEAN wants stability, balance, and respect for its autonomy. China, watching from the sidelines, wants to ensure that neither side undermines its regional influence. How these competing interests play out will determine whether the summit becomes a milestone in US-Asia relations or just another diplomatic show. As the leaders gather, the world will be watching not only what is said, but what is left unsaid. Will Trump push ASEAN nations to take a harder line on China? Will ASEAN push back by emphasizing neutrality and inclusiveness? Will there be real progress on trade liberalization, or will protectionism dominate the conversation? These are the questions shaping the narrative. And while headlines may focus on Trump's statements or the ceremonial group photo, the real story will unfold in the months to come through policy follow-up, trade data, and diplomatic behavior. For audiences beyond Southeast Asia, including countries like Pakistan, the summit carries lessons about the future of regional diplomacy. It highlights how small and mid-sized nations can navigate great power rivalry by maintaining flexibility, leveraging partnerships, and pursuing pragmatic national interests. It also illustrates that in the modern world, diplomacy is as much about economics as it is about military alliances. In conclusion, the Trump-ASEAN summit represents both a test and an opportunity. It's a test of America's credibility as a global partner and a chance for ASEAN to redefine its role in an increasingly polarized world. While Trump's assertive style may generate bold headlines, the real success of this summit will depend on sustained engagement, concrete action, and the ability of both sides to look beyond short-term political gains. The meeting may produce ambitious statements about cooperation and friendship, but the future of US-ASEAN relations will ultimately hinge on trust, consistency, and the delicate balance of power in a region where every move counts. In short, this is not just another diplomatic gathering. It's a defining moment for the Indo-Pacific, one that will shape trade, security, and alliances for years to come.